Yeah, man, so we're there with you again. Next Wednesday. This is really something because it was in March. 20 years ago we come here. And we're still there. Before we start the program, we kind of feel sad like still because we have to call her a mama. A mama from the first time we go to Nyabinghi and we see this sister in a chant and jump. When she chant and jump, trust me man, just looking upon her, just her physical manifestation carrying a different state of mind, man. Just looking upon her. Well, after sighting of Rastafari, we eventually come get to know her. And she eventually be where them call now, where them would call it, the godmother of my children. Well, today we hear say she passed away in Ethiopia. She and her brethren migrated to Ethiopia years ago. Well, the brethren passed away and now she passed. We are talking about Queen Baby I. Baby I. For those of you who have never heard or don't hear, for those of you who's from the Nyabinghi house and know Rastafari, I tried from them time there until now, and Baby I in the Nyabinghi house was like a pillar. When you talk about the Nyabinghi, for those of you who don't know, the spirit of Nyabinghi emanates from the female, from a woman named Nyabinghi. Well, me I tell you, say, anytime Baby I chant, you see the living Nyabinghi in a this woman. The strangest thing about this woman, she have a male manifestation that is beyond words. The last time we see her in Ethiopia, her beard was very long. Yeah, man, you hear me right, man. You hear me right. This Nyabinghi woman, this Rastafari mother, this being that repatriated to Ethiopia, she had an appearance that, I mean, trust me, man, it's a balance between the male and the female energy that passed through that woman. The last time I see her, her beard was in her chest. Yes. So, the sister passed. Next one of the elders gone. This one passed in Ethiopia from Shashamane land. Our brethren also passed away. That close a page to I in the Nyabinghi tradition, because most of the ones them where I come see in the Nyabinghi house leave way from Bongo time, Puro, Tani, Stone, Water. When I call them physical manifestation, they trust me, man. Rastafari is something else. Believe you me. Who can deny that Rastafari in its manifestation in Jamaica has given the world, especially the Western world, especially to black people, we have allowed black people to see themselves in a different light. Yes, different light. When black people, after the Black Power movement take hold as a political mindset, we see that it kind of dwindled down because most of the people them who was black power was communists. So them never have a black agenda. They was communists. So the black power movement satisfied that social orientation, that black people need more than just social political orientation. We are a spiritual people, even though them take away from our homeland and brought us here, we still maintain that spirituality through the whip and the chains and the death, the blood and the sweat. Rastafari was able to take part of that liberation spirit into the black power movement and make it become something more than just socio-political. So Rastafari gave the world, especially the Western world, especially black people, a new way to look at themselves. Dignified. Rastafari was able to carry the mantle of Marcus Mosiah Garvey from in the 20s to in now, we in the next 2012. Rastafari move the struggle from just socio-political to fighting against principalities, powers, whether spiritual or physical powers in high places. And who can deny? And even though them try, and sometimes we wonder why them want to deny that Rastafari was able to carve a space for Jamaica on the world stage. We were able to carve a space for Jamaica on the world stage, meaning that all what them are talk about is Rastafari brand Jamaica. All what them want to say is Rastafari come brand Jamaica. That the world could have say there's a group of people down here that gave the world what they would have called a so-called new religion and gave black people a different way to look at themselves in the realms of them Africanness, them heritage and them history, like no other group of people has ever done. So we want to heal up Baby I as a woman warrior, as a woman warrior of the Nyabinghi order who trod upon this earth. And when me go Nyabinghi and see this woman, me I say, yes, Nyabinghi. And the thing with it that she never did have to preach, because she's not a preacher. She's not a teacher. Just her manifested self. Ring something in your heart and your mind and your soul, and you say, yes, Nyabinghi. It's just weird that you have a set of races that will come up and don't know these people. I give thanks, my two daughters was able to be a part of our spiritual manifestation where she adopted them. So, yeah man, we feel it. We feel it because we had a direct communication, direct link, spiritually and physically, with this woman. very big, like Empress Menen. Very, very big in structure. You would never believe how big this woman was. And her face was like a baby. Baby eye. A baby eye, Rastafari. Believe you me. When people tell me, say, all them people they gone in a Rasta, I feel it. I know it's inevitable still. It's inevitable. But we would hope that everyone out there who will listen to it would do something in them life that when them gone, they can make an impression positively on the heart and the soul and the spirit, or whatever you want to call it, of those who is left to take part in the glory. We give thanks to Rastafari continuously on this program here for 20 years of recognizing that Rastafari have something to say, and if allowed to say it, we would make a difference in the hearts and minds of the people, as we have done over the past 20 years. Given the opportunity and the chance, we could transform people, make them look at themselves in a different way. It's just that a program like this I run for 20 years is on the periphery. And because it is on the periphery, the dent that it would have made if it wasn't just a one program. But if there were many different programs like these and the many different radio stations that Jamaica have, trust me, man, would I say a change? Yes. A little one program, yeah? Give thanks to it. If there were other radio stations over the past 20 years that was allowing the Rastafari voice to be heard, it would make a whole heap of difference. Whole heap of difference. Trust me. But we give thanks still. We give thanks. We give thanks for the time and the energy. We give thanks to Mr. Young, who did have the far eye. We give thanks to the people them who tolerate it. We give thanks to people who tolerate it. Of all the things that we did that say, how we are say, the things that we will communicate to the people them. Whenever you know one come tell we say, we have got too far, or we are talking about Rasta too much, or we are talking about Christianity too much or nothing. Them love me. Them love me, make me go on, you understand? So, we don't have nothing against no one who take it up on themselves. If you go allow a boy like me for the radio for 20 years, I talk all these things. These weird things. Well, it's not as weird again, considering what is going on in the communication level. It's not as weird again. We could say it was weird first time. But I don't think nobody has said weird again. Because now them say, through communications and all these things, that really and truly, Mutabaruka is not so weird as they would have thought. If they're so weird, believe you me, if they're so weird. I've been in walk around without shoes, but when you check in mine, and I mean, me not like when really are safe on the radio sometimes, you know. Me not like when I attack certain things. But guess what? We are warrior, you know. We are not priests. We are warrior. We're coming from the heart of the Nyabinghi over the years. And that's how we know Rastafari. We are not Christian Rasta. We are not Israelite. We are not Jew. We are Nyabinghi. That we say over the years. We not eat deaders. We not eat nothing with the high. We not eat nothing we run from we. You understand? We just a trod the trod. Oh, we did come see it. And how we shape it in our reality and our experience. So, it is good. It is good that we are allowed to be here over the years to really project these ideas, these philosophies, and give the people them a new way to look at things. Yes, whole heap of people. As a matter of fact, I am the only father out there who can claim that I am not a father for thousands of Jamaican youth who gave these youth their name. Yes, I can attest to that. If you look, when exam come, when the exam paper them come, and you look at the green and see all the people them who pass, and you see all those strange names that them call African names, I can attest to it, that this is the program that initiated those names. So, I see a sister the other day, you know, and she asked me if I mean name Muta Baroka. I say, yes. She said, are you give me my name, you know? And she a big woman. Must about 18, a big woman, 18, 19. She said, she a big woman. She said, you give me my name, you know? My father listen to your program and write down the name and I name that. And there's thousands of youth out there with African names in light of the cutting edge. And that is something I am proud of, to know that I was able to transform those names from John and Tony and White and Claire and Diane and these things to some serious African names. Where black people in Jamaica never used to want to give themselves these names. We see that a whole heap of youth have African name in Jamaica because of the cutting edge. A whole heap of youth start to read alternative books outside of them school book because of the cutting edge. And a whole heap of people explore religion because of the cutting edge. So we have much to be proud of on this program. And even though from there we never hear no, this first hour is brought, well, we did hear that still. But I should say, this program is brought to you by whatsoever. We never hear that yet. But we give thanks to the people who go down and kill South Africa and said, me want my advertisement to go up on the cutting edge. Yes, the little people them who pay them little small money. One cocoa full basket. The little people them know say, people are listening. Yes, people are listening, and when them listen, them react. And a whole heap of people, especially my Christian friend them, we want to heal up all the Christian them in Jamaica who can't left the cutting edge because them is almost masochistic. Because I am the man they love to eat. But when them hear me, them have to pray for me. So we give thanks to the prayers. All my Christian friend them and listen to culture that. Give thanks to all the pastors them who call me name in them church. To them congregation. Give thanks to all the Christian them who stop me on the road and say, boy, Muta, you know, easy, you know. Your street we bad. But we love you still, you know, because some things the way I say are true. Yes. About 10 years ago, a woman tell me, say, 3 years, me go change. and come bow to Jesus. Right up at the university tell me that. Say, Muta, I get 3 years to come bow to Jesus. At 10 years ago that, you think I don't remember? 10 years ago she said that. And me still I look for Jesus and can't find him. Over people say them find Jesus, I lie them I tell. Me still I look for him. So all is not lost. All is not lost. Yes, believe you me. Go and hope, man. Them say feed is the substance of things hope for. My last name, my mother give me a hope. My father did name hope. So them give me a name hope. So go and hope. Because we love the thing, but age one now. We have our intelligence. We have our brains. And we don't just read because we just want to read, We read to find out things. We read examining things. And we read with a consciousness. So most people in Jamaica have a Bible, but most people don't read it. No, most people in Jamaica have a Bible, but most people don't read it. The thing is that now, me to join an organization where me keep saying it. Me keep saying it, and believe you me, one of the greatest thing Brother Gad say. And the best thing me hear him say. Him say, read the Bible from Genesis 1 to Revelation 22. 1 chapter a day. The problem I did, I couldn't read 1 chapter a day because I was so anxious. I just read, I go on, but I never did skip out nothing, not no word, no nothing. I just go and read till I done it. The problem with it is that everybody else outside, I should say everybody else, most ones who did I read it when God tell them to read it and come to the same conclusion where God come to, where him did want them come to. Me was kind of outsider now because when me don't read it, me never come to the same conclusion where him come to. Because me I read it for myself. There's no way a group of people cannot look for truth for themselves. And a man tell you must read the Bible to find truth for yourself. And when you're done, a film truth you find. And everybody else find film truth. No go so. No uniformity, no go so. When it come on to Bible. So we read the Bible and we realize a whole heap of things tonight are just foolishness. Straight up. Somebody throw a cloak and dagger round way. And we come realize a whole heap of things tonight is mythology. That means you must take it as how them write it. But you have to understand what was happening in those days. Why did the people write it how them write it? Because we never did get to understand that when we in a 12 tribe, when we in a church, we never get to understand. We never do geography in a church. For know say most of the places where they experience these things was in Africa. And we never did know say it was just a peripheral thing going on. It wasn't the world. This book never become a world thing until Rome take it and make it become a world thing. And by the time Rome get it, it was far gone. It was far gone. So you have people like Constantine and these Roman emperors started to fashion and shape and form the doctrine that we now call Christianity. And then now Christianity become what it is now through King James. And King James and me is not friend. So as a rebel, and the rebel in me say, no, we're not going to work with that, So over the years, we tell the people them how we feel. And we not dodge around the corner. We said exactly that. And some people vex. Them can't take Muta Baruka. Because him attack the very heart of this what them call religious structure at Jamaica. The Christian thing. And when we started out, it was almost like we were alone. And believe you me, there's not one place in the world where we go. I'm going to say a Jamaican, we say Muta. Me used to listen to you when me used to go to school, you know. And me think it's a pure foolishness in that talk, you know. Enough university students book me, you know, in Africa, in Europe, in England, in the West Indies. Them book me and say, Muta, you know, so when me there at university and I listen to you, me think say you was a madman. As a matter of fact, people still think say me a madman. Of course, it's not like a madman that go up and play without shoes. I got fired in a cold without shoes, but you know, say, when the youth them say, when me I go to school, you know, when me hear you talk on the radio, me think you was a madman, you know. Cause all the people, them to turn out that radio and stop into that madman. But you see, from me come here, and my talk about them come here now, in the university with them there in a foreign, Yale, Oxford, University of the West Indies in the Caribbean. Most of them university students were left University of the West Indies and go other universities. Them used to study late at night, listen cutting edge. Them say, boy, may I tell you, the most of things when me come find out when me left Jamaica, me not believe say your mother again. Most of the things the way I say are true. Yes. I mean, tell a man say, if when me say it's not true, you know, come show me say it's not true. If when me say it's not true, you bring something to come show me say it's not true. So when me tell you say, there was no man living 2,000 years ago that named Jesus Christ. Show me say, it's not true. If you hear me say that, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, say, there is no man living 2,000 years ago that named Jesus Christ. Show me say, Muta Baruka, you don't know where I say. There was a man named Jesus Christ living 2,000 years ago. And if you should go to the theological college of Pomona or any theological college, you will realize that Muta Baruka is not a madman. Yeah, it's not a madman. So we have to defend myself in this conversation that we are having. So we have to defend myself because appear most youth when them say, them parents, they must listen to me because I'm a madman. Yeah. So maybe me should do like the bridge in the other night and just accept him he's a madman. Because you have to be mad in this sane world, you know, because when you look at where I go out, though, you say, but wait, if me is a madman and everybody else, if look at the politician them, nobody don't call politician mad, and the preacher them, nobody don't call preacher mad. Look how much things me see a go on now with the church, a big church, just a big church that day, them older man, the preacher was respected in the community. I wish parish again. One of them big church say he was molesting a little girl for about 3 years. Whole heap of people. People now come read our book and come realize say what me did that say was valuable. So me never did even read the book or the books. But out of my Rastafari experience and my Rastafari tradition, we come either something different from what the normal Jamaican understand. Because whilst we are either them understand, that's why them still can't say whole heap of things what we are saying. So We are continuing the program, you know. We are continuing the program. We don't know how long the program got for the radio. But it they are long. Believe you me. If it come off now, we are continuing the program. We don't know how long the program got for the radio. But it they are long. Believe you me. If it come off now, moon feel away. Yeah, that's right. If I was a boy, I have your road, you know. Believe you me, moon feel away about it. That's it. But enough more things there to say. We got so much things to say. We cannot be justified by the laws of men. We have so much things to say. We not bring tidings of joy in the system that is so corrupted that it don't allow us the freedom and the energy to Senarine, we don't want I miss my train of thought, you know, operator, we miss my train of thought. The operator miss my train of thought. But where we are saying that 20 years is a very long time for the father radio program. Believe you me. If we go find out which other program like this, the panel radio, will continue so long. Well, somebody will show me now. Somebody will show me how long 20 years is. 20 years. Can you imagine me on the program prior Usain Bolt was like 3 years old? I think about all them things they don't say. No, it's not real. But if the program from Usain Bolt about 3 years old to right. From the former prime minister was like 29 years old. You understand? Maybe even one of them that said damn foolishness. We don't know. The former prime minister there. Maybe if the father called that said, yes, who that boy? Who that brother? Mandela Park. And we near Mandela Park, and I want the whole of Jamaica to know that, you know. If you don't believe me, ask Portia Simpson. And we get up in a Mandela Park and say Mandela Park. And we keep the biggest function in Africa. I hear them talk about politician this and politician that. And we draw the biggest crowd in Africa when Mandela come out of prison. If you don't believe me, ask who was there. So we have enough to be thankful for. Enough to be thankful for. We create a space for a different kind of thinking in Jamaica. Not the normal way of thinking. We create a space for a new thinking. Or a different way of thinking. Yes, we just talk about we reflect on some of the things where we was able to do over the past 20 years. Before the music was laden with Emmanuel I, Marcus I, Haile Selassie I. It was the cutting edge that bring to light the Bobo Shanti house publicly on radio through the joy of Prince Emmanuel, who, when we say we wanted to interview the house, the Bobo Shanti house, Prince Emmanuel gladly accepted, knowing that no one has ever given the Bobo house so much time on public radio to express themselves. And I remember when the bus drive up inside there, some man, Mr. Young start to fret. When they see the whole if I red, gold and green, they had the gold, they had everything I come through. But it was a joy. It was a joy for Prince Emmanuel, because I remember when he sent back the message to me and say, no one has ever done this for the Bobo house. Nobody has ever done that. So he wanted to just give thanks. And after that, We tell him, we ask him, we send a message, we say, oh, come you send pure man. We was that presumptuous. We say, oh, come you send pure man. What happened to the female in the house? And the next time, the females was in the house, man. In the IRFM studio here. There's no other studio in Jamaica has ever entertained such a unique interview by a unique group of Rastafari brethren and sisters. And I know that it was without of that interview that gave rise outside of the Bobo house to the Bobo Shanti movement, outside of the Jamaica, outside of the Bobo house, where you have man rise up, wrap up them head, and start to chant, Hail Emmanuel I, Rastafari, Haile Selassie I. So we have a lot to be thankful for. And when we first declare that, how come the Rasses them are hail Haile Selassie and not hailing him wife, Empress Menen? A whole heap of Rasta jump on me and vex. Say if me a turn Empress Menen in a God too. And me I say, look here man, in our cultural heritage, there was never a time when the female was not adored. And if you look at how Haile Selassie do it, would I say him never leave him wife? And it is out of protocol. It's outside of protocol to hail the king and don't hail the queen. Now we hardly see any fight against it. We hardly see any man a fight and I say, Mutawaroka, we matter about and this and that, because we come under many fire from the Rastafari community, because we did say, must hail Empress Menen too. Man, I say, if me I turn the thing in some feminist thing and all them something there. Even sistering it kind of shaky, if you say that. I mean, I say, but a long time Rasta say King Alpha and Queen Omega. So if you don't say Queen Alpha and Queen Omega, me forget born King Alpha and Queen Omega, me could talk about Haile Selassie and Empress Menen. Because Alpha and Omega is Greek. It symbolizes nothing to the Rastafari movement more than regurgitating something that will come here about. So let us not add or subtract anything from Empress Menen and Haile Selassie. We could just call them name. Hail Emperor Haile Selassie I and Empress Menen. So now we don't hear much entanglement with the bridging them again. But it was the cutting edge that instigated that without any committee meeting or anything like Constantine. You understand? So, as we have said, we give thanks. We give thanks that we're still there. And we're still there. Believe you me, we're still there. We're still there. So, IRFM, Cutting Edge. We have a sister here that, oh gosh, how would I trip her out? Marge?
Yes, sir.
Ah, blessed. We have the sister here on the radio here now, and we know her for years. Years we know her for. And she leave Jamaica and repatriate to Ethiopia. Now, I don't know if you hear the news already, Marge, but you know that baby I passed away.
Yes, sir.
You hear about it today?
Yes, sir, and it leaves me in a state of distraughtness.
May I tell you, man, may I tell you. You almost live near her there. In the last days, you know, how she did that keep up with our virgin dead? How she did that keep up? Because what a year ago him dead. It's a year ago him dead, don't it? When him dead?
He died September 2010.
2010, him dead 2010, yeah, September.
Right.
Okay.
So, and then Bongo Rupert, who was also within the house, passed away in October past year.
Yeah, me and Bongo Rupert used to share land, you know, the fence line up Potosi.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So Yeah, me ask, how she did that keep up after that?
Well, let me first of all glory in the word, soul, and power of life. Yeah, let's I'm just say, I think Mama was keeping up very well, you know. To consider that she's aged, and Mama has always been a strong spirit.
Yeah.
And as the guys say, you know, she was a great Nyabinghi Mama.
Yeah, man, the inspiration.
Yeah, man. She have article strength, you know?
Yes, yeah.
So I must tell the eye that I would have visited her as often as I could, and I found that I was a great strength to her. She was really always happy when she see ones like myself coming in and others coming in.
Yeah.
In the last few months, I could see that she needed one to come and strengthen her spirit.
Yeah.
You know, there are times when I had to go there and cheer up a bit, but I must admit that the times when I go, I could not spend a long time. Because I was basically on the road between Shashamane and Addis Ababa every day.
Yeah.
You know, for the last 6 months or so.
You travel from Shashamane to Addis Ababa every day?
Almost, yes.
Where you do at Addis Ababa? No, Shashamane you live? No, serious.
Yeah, man. I'm serious too.
No, where do you do Addis Ababa?
Oh, well, let me say it is ongoing matters, legal matters that I have to attend to in Addis Ababa. Not that I don't want to give too much of the details on it. The matter is not closed, you know?
Yeah, but I want to let the people them know, say, when I went to Ethiopia,
yes,
Madge and her brethren was providing Shashamane with tofu products, and soya products.
Yes.
They are the biggest distribution and manufacturing of tofu in a Shashamane, and that was really sweet when I go there.
At that time, yes.
And I say, yes, progress I make. I remember the brethren at the bottom, they have the bakery there. What's name again?
Jabo.
Jabo have the bakery. Yes.
From Trinidad, yes.
Him still have the bakery down there?
Well, he closed it more than a year ago. It could be 2 years, because I remember I did have to go to England after my brethren passed on. And when I returned to Ethiopia, the bakery was already closed.
Okay.
So that's over 2 years now.
So remind me, how long you there in Ethiopia?
8.5 years.
8.5 years. I know are the first you come back to Jamaica?
Yes, sir.
In the 8.5 years?
Yeah.
All right, tell me the journey where the sister make now, because me know Madge personally for a longer time and things, and tell me that how the journey go. You know, from them time there. You know,
from them time
how you reach, you know, how you settle down, the movements, or up there stay with your feel and let me hear there. Because not every day we get somebody from Shashamane land to talk, you understand? So
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I must tell you, because I am one from the time I left school, I was interested in going to Africa. And I always thought that it would have been wonderful to live in Africa. And if you notice, when I was here, I was very active.
Yeah.
And I would also participate on your program regarding issues around Africa, you know?
Definitely, yes.
And I took the activity within the Rastafari community, you know, participating voluntarily in whatever programs I would have been accommodated on, whether it was reasoning, cultural programs, whatever it was. In the Nyabinghi, I had also gone, and that's where I first met Mama and Bongo Rocky. I also participated on a secretarial level doing voluntary secretarial work. Then I became a member of the RCO. I became assistant secretary 1 year when Rasta Silva was elected as the president or the chairperson. And after that, I became involved with Lloyd, who was running the Haile Selassie theocracy government. That moved me into St. Catherine and Kingston. And beyond that, I found myself participating seriously amongst the Rastafari community. Then a member of Haile Selassie's family came to Jamaica, if you remember. Zara Jacob. So Zara Jacob came to Jamaica, and they invited us to come forward to Ethiopia, where they were going to settle. So we got a mandate out of the group that was amongst us to go forward to Ethiopia. So I left about 3 months after Lloyd left, because I left after making sure that, things were going well here. At that time, it was anticipated that members of different groups, at least one member of different groups, would be able to make the trip to Ethiopia, given that they would have acquired sponsorship. That never really happened. Lloyd was the only person who got full sponsorship and went directly. He went along with another brethren, Harry Joseph. Yes. And then at that time, I was working hard to get my trip as well. So apart from making some of my own money to buy my ticket, Harry Joseph also, who had a business here, asked me to manage the business and earn some money so that I could make up my ticket money to go forward. And this was how I went forward some 3 months later. But by that time, I had helped to tie up certain matters surrounding the Ethiopian Peace Foundation, which was functioning out of Lloyd's place in Barbican. And there was some difficulty in terms of how persons were coordinating. And so it seems that when we left, they were unable to acquire the kind of sponsorship that was necessary for those persons who had also gotten visas to go to Ethiopia. There was an Ethiopian man here who took the responsibility. He was in touch with the Orthodox Church, so he took the responsibility to get us the visas. And so after we got the visas, those who got their tickets would move forward.
All right. So when you left, you go straight to Ethiopia. You never stop nowhere, for a portion of time.
Straight to Ethiopia. To Ethiopia. And then when I went to Ethiopia now, I got the story of how Lloyd was magnanimous in, his efforts by going to the African Union, and through the African Union was able to also go to South Africa. Of course, we got an invitation from Thabo Mbeki and Nkosi Zada Dlamini Zuma, who was the foreign minister at the time. They had come to Jamaica when we were preparing ourselves. And when we met them at the Pegasus Hotel. So when they were preparing, they at the time when we met with them, they extended an invitation to us to come and visit them in South Africa once we were in Ethiopia.
So you was in South Africa with Lloyd, or
No, when I arrived in Ethiopia, the group, persons who were already there, Harry Joseph and Lloyd, along with others, had already gone to South Africa. And I understand that even Shanti, who we know very well.
She lives in South Africa now.
Yes. Of course, she joined them. And by joining them and, going through certain kind of negotiations and so on, she made it back to Ethiopia to accompany Lloyd and the others to the African Union.
So Lloyd didn't meet Gaddafi?
He didn't. And there is a lot of misconception and bad stories going around too, which, I just make a small statement about, because I've heard these things said, and man even call me from America saying that at some point I will have to show them my documents to prove that we never went to Libya, because they hear that Lloyd got $60 million to take care of reparations and repatriation issues, and nobody knows what happened to it.
To the 60 million.
Well, let me tell you very clearly. I was the one who got the call from the South African Foreign Ministry when the tickets were to be issued.
To go to Libya.
To go to Libya. And at that time, we were to attend African Union conference that was being held in Libya. It so happened that we had to go to the South African embassy to release the tickets, and I was instrumental in releasing those tickets with the company of Lloyd and Harry Joseph. And it was 6 tickets that were given. But when we got the tickets, we realized that we would have had to travel through Rome in order to go to Libya. And our question was, why do we have to go through Rome to go to Libya? We are on the continent of Africa.
Are you there, Africa already?
Of course.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we had only gotten the tickets a day before, but we were supposed to travel that very night.
Yeah, and they have to go through Rome to come back to Libya.
Yes, and in addition to that, we were also requested to have our visas for Libya. So we were unable to get the visas for Libya that particular afternoon at the time when the tickets were released. And so we went back home instead of going for the flight to Rome. We all went back home. It was 4 of us who were confirmed to go on the trip. And we went back home and we go back to the drawing board and discuss all the matters. And what we thought is we would not go for this trip. We would tell them that we are postponing the trip until another time because it was too sudden on us. The African Union conference was only going to start on 1 day after, and already our documents were not properly sorted out. So we took the initiative to stay in Ethiopia and keep going to the African Union there in Addis Ababa. So we never made the trip to Libya. It was soon after that, the following month after that Lloyd passed away.
And I did an interview with Lloyd from Africa, from South Africa.
That's interesting because I missed that interview.
Yeah, I have it to play further down the line in the year as one of the pro. Yeah, I did an interview with him, a very extensive interview.
All right.
Yeah, all right. So, you're in Ethiopia now and you decided to set up base.
Yes.
All right. You reach a Shashamane now.
Yes.
So, how you start to set up base in a Shashamane?
Well, basically, I personally in myself felt that if I were in Africa and now I get myself in Africa, I would want to take care of my food security.
Yeah.
And so I learned a little bit about soybeans from I was here in Jamaica. So I thought that for me, although I had started with, let's say, I left Addis Ababa to Shashamane about 2 weeks or so before Lloyd passed away. And Addis Ababa to Shashamane about 2 weeks or so before Lloyd passed away. And whilst I'm there in Shashamane, I have crochet skills, I have sewing skills, and I saw Ethiopian women going around crocheting, and, I thought that I could help them, and I could also help myself by teaching them finishing, hygiene, that kind of thing, because, there was so many things that I saw lacking in the woman I saw in Shashamane. So I got a group of ladies together and started a crochet group. And out of that crochet group, we developed a good rapport that when they were having the Bob Marley show, we did the fashion show for the Shashamane leg of it. It turned out that I was encouraged to use my personal finances and so on to push the fashion show, and after I did that, I kind of never liked, what came out of it. I won't go into all that details now, but eventually I never saw how I could have sustained my project with the young ladies unless I had some sponsorship or was having access to a certain kind of fund to keep it going. So I wanted now to take care of myself. And I thought that the best thing that I could do was go ahead and register a business with the government. And I thought I would do soybeans.
Okay.
So I went into processing soybeans.
So where you got the soybean from?
They're in Ethiopia.
Oh,
they plant
soybean in Ethiopia?
Yes. Well, at this point, I don't know if they have upscaled the planting now 2 years ago, I was called to a seminar by one of the government's research institutes because they learned of me and learned of what I was doing. People took the labels of the products that I was producing to them. And when I was invited there, it was one of those seminars whereby they were considering the upscaling of soybean production. They brought certain stakeholders together to look at certain possibilities. So, you know, they gave me an opportunity to speak to them from the floor, whereby we talked about, you know, how how a sustained program could be entertained in Ethiopia. So since that, though, I have had to close my business because of the passing of my brethren who passed away.
Yeah, but we can go back to the soybean thing, you see? All right. Is the government planted or is a company outside of Ethiopia?
It's really farmers. The farmers have their own cooperatives. You know, Ethiopia is an agricultural base. Yeah. And so the farmers have their own projects. So there are farmers cooperatives that really do plant soybean.
So where in Ethiopia you used to get your soybean from? Shashamane or outside of Shashamane?
When I first started, I was getting my soybeans from 2 members of the Rastafari community right there in Shashamane. And I felt so enthusiastic about that. I thought that by my producing, it would also help them to produce more to sustain me. And, you know, but I found that they themselves were having other issues because they were involved with other things. One person operating a hotel and no one.
The brethren who hotel used to plant the soybean.
No, one assistant. That's interesting. But there's also a brethren who own what you call the HIM Institute or Shash Farms. They plant lots of different things, including herbs. And there is a brainchild behind it who knows a lot about the things that we Rastafari. He's Rastafari himself. You know, he comes from Jamaican parentage, has lived in America and other places in the Caribbean before going to Ethiopia. So now he sets up this business. He runs different farms that produces teas, herbal products, food, different kind of foods, different kinds of vegetables, juices. So he produces lots of juices. He makes cane juices and put them on the market.
All right. I can ask you something now, because we know tofu, but when you started to make tofu from Shashamane, was it only the Rastafari community that buy it, or the Ethiopians them come and get it too?
Well, you see, I was the one who had to now introduce it to the community. When I started to do this, I heard that there was someone who had started to do that before I came, and she was unable to sustain it, so she stopped. And anyway, after I started, then Ras and Kuma, another brethren who came in from England to settle with his wife Marcia, they set up a factory. So there's also and it's a much more established factory than mine now. You know, I just have a basic thing, you know, where we were. But they now have been doing their tofu constantly. But I did much further than that, though. I didn't just do tofu and milk. I decided to introduce tofu to the people in Ethiopia. Rastafari people already know about it.
Yeah, that's what I asked. If all the Ethiopians take on to it. That's why I asked you, all the Ethiopians take on to this new thing.
Well, once it was properly introduced, they took on to it quite nicely. And I must tell you, even when I went to the seminar 2 years ago, the persons there were so enthusiastic. There were doctors there, there were farmers there, there were business people there. And, you know, there were business people who wanted to put these products in their supermarkets. The doctors were saying to me, the only time we know that you're serious is when we start seeing your products on the supermarket shelves all over Ethiopia.
And you saw distributing Addis Ababa too?
Well, what really happened is because I never had proper transportation, I never really worked out a proper program to do that distribution to Addis. But what I found is that people who the products were introduced to in Addis were now coming to Shashamane to get my product.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, because by then I was not only concentrating on tofu, I was doing a wide range of things.
I know it's not only tofu you did do, but, because the soya bean is such a potent thing. I just wonder, for instance, in Addis Ababa, I know, say, you have a whole heap of Ethiopians there who's exposed to the Western world,
Right.
So them kind of have an understanding about tofu and them something there. So
right.
The market, I think, could have more in Addis Ababa.
It's not a joke, Musa. It is true, but I must tell you, because now in Shashamane is where we have our residence and property and that kind of thing. And I because I am also an open-minded person, I thought we could produce from Shashamane and distribute things to Addis Ababa. But as I tell you, I still was not developed to that point. Even though there was that enthusiasm, and I was already invited by persons who I met at the seminar who have the collateral to put into the business, who could say to me, we want your things in our supermarket, in Addis Ababa, in Debrezi. Debrezi being the next town, feeding city, town, or sub-city to Addis Ababa. But I have a major setback when my brethren had a heart attack and passed away. And then I didn't see the kind of people who I really wanted to do business with, who I would have done it with, just never have the collateral to buy his shares. So because there was nobody to actually buy his shares, and my time was overextended because they have already told me from the Ministry of Trade and Industry that they would not renew my business license unless I transferred his shares. So my only option was to go into court with it.
All right. So what you do with where do the machine with them?
My machinery are still there. They are my possessions now. Because I've tried to settle that part of things in court.
All right. So how it going up now? Your brethren pass away. The machine them there. How you intend to reopen and revitalize that? How you intend to do that?
Well, Musa, to take it on the scale that I see great possibilities, I really would have to deal with persons who can back me up with serious collateral, who are willing to be investors.
Well, maybe you should go talk to Country Farm House. You laugh. What a big laugh, that. What a big laugh.
That's a possibility.
Look here, wait there,
but I don't like doing my business on the air this way, though.
No, I'm not telling about doing no business. I tell you, maybe you should talk to them. Look here. I remember Country Farm House when it wasn't Country Farm House, doing the park in him house.
Yes.
No, it's the biggest distribution of tofu in Jamaica. I saw your products for that matter in Jamaica. So when I say Country Farm, don't laugh. So see, look at the possibilities it's possible.
I know it's possible. I'm not laughing after you,
No, I know you're not laughing after me. I know you're not laughing after me, but the laugh so very strong. The laugh so very
strong. It just to show, I know how you think, and you just hit the nail on the head every time. But I saw it go. Because I'm really serious about this, and what I have seen just opened me up to a new horizon.
Yes, possibilities.
When I do soybean and having the chance to be by myself at certain times, I could meditate and go and experiment, and I came out with so many things. I found myself doing soya cheese, soy maize, I'm doing balls, I'm doing burgers, and I'm being told that my burgers are the best burgers they've ever tasted. I'm doing ice cream, and people are crazy about the ice cream. You understand? I'm doing all kinds of pastry products just for people to enjoy and know that soya can do these things, and they don't have to live on eggs and cow milk
and raw meat. Raw meat.
So I took it to another level.
All right. Make a shift from the food thing now. Make I ask you a question now. Shashamane and Rastafari occupying the land. The land is not anymore a given thing, so I might have to make adjustments. We see developments are going. The last time I go there, as I said, big hotel, Rasta One Hotel, Rasta World Saya Place, Rasta One Bakery, big Nyabinghi Center, all these things that take place. So, in terms of the government now, and the Oromo people and all the people them where is Ethiopian versus the Rastafari community.
Yeah.
How that a work out?
Let me put it to you this way. You make a statement by saying Shashamane is not a given thing.
Yeah.
There is a kind of reasoning that has been going on, by ones and ones there from time to time, saying that when gift land, if land is granted onto a people and they don't use it, then it can be taken away, and especially if the population grows to a point where it is necessary for the population to use this land, then the land can be taken away from the person who it was given to, if as long as it's not been used. However, I recently had the opportunity to meet a sister who's a staunch Ethiopian World Federation member. She visited Ethiopia, and she would have liked to know that once take the issue seriously. She pointed out, and she's strong on this, that there is nothing that says the land would be taken back if we did not use it within a limited period of time. In addition to that, she pointed out to us that this was crown land, and crown land cannot be taken away if it is given as a gift.
But suppose there's no crown there again.
His Majesty's royal estate.
But suppose there's no crown there and the government is not in line with the monarchy, but is in line with a different kind of governance.
Well, you see, whilst you rest in the parameters of supposition, let's say that our people, the Rastafari, has not grown, matured enough to lobby government in regards to what it is that we want, or how to secure what belongs to us. I have not seen that level of negotiations nor deliberations there whilst I'm there. Of course, efforts have been made, but in a quasi kind of way,
Not even from the Federation panel, I mean.
You already know there is some kind of differences even amongst members within the organization itself, which itself is an obstacle.
Yeah.
And similarly, the same thing operates within other groups that come in who are interested in even negotiating with the EWF.
Yes,
Yeah. So these things do get in the way. And in many ways, we ask the question, who are we really serving? It seems more that we're serving Babylon more than serving who we say is the Most High, our Almighty, Sadamari Haile Selassie. Because we should have really made that effort, constant effort, to ensure the security of Shashamane. And even when I come here, I am seeing also that, and I didn't have to come here to see that. I can even make reference to when I was going to the AU, there were ones there who would ask me questions, and they would name names and say, how is it that these persons have not come to the continent? What happened to these entertainers who they are making money and now they can make trips and come to Africa? Why don't they come and visit us and let's do something on the continent? These things were being said. And I must say, I am somewhat disappointed when I see, I'm there in Ethiopia, and I see elders come forward saying they've been sponsored by entertainers, and then these entertainers never really show up to see the kind of infrastructure or the kind of support that is there on the ground, whether there is any or there is none. And there needs to be something tangible, something tangible needs to be done. They have never really come to do that kind of thing.
Put where the entertainers them out there, because we don't really have no faith in entertainers. What we're saying now is that it's mentioned because
they are the ones who really get some resources in their hands.
Yeah, but I tell you something. But that's what I'm saying.
Talk about Haile Selassie, who use the Rastafari to really make their money.
Yeah, but put away now the entertainers, because you have Rastafari brethren and sistren
Yes.
who develop things outside of Ethiopia. We are talking about places like Ghana, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Malawi, all of these places where Rastafari find himself in. So there is a kind of sentimental Rasta value pan Shashamane, but I think that a whole heap of ones that look on a wider picture, and because of investment opportunities that don't arise in Ethiopia, a whole heap of man get turned off from all investments happen in Ethiopia and decide them I will go find an easier way to invest in Africa. So them find themselves in places like Ghana, Zimbabwe, Malawi, South Africa. You know, I mean, we understand the sentimental value to Ethiopia and Shashamane, but then now there is an Africa thing. And a whole heap of one, I know a brethren will leave Shashamane and go live in South Africa. And him find himself much better off now in terms of when did one do in a Shashamane. Him couldn't do it because the government that tell him to have how much thousands of dollars, while the next country tell him just have to have a few dollars.
Well, Muta, I understand that very clearly because I myself who take the trips out of Ethiopia and go to other places and see for myself and even hear from other persons as well. I'm very convinced that were I in another African country, I could have made it global a long time ago based upon the resources that Jah had put my hand to.
Yeah.
You know, and I must say also though that regardless of that, I see that there is a lacking of a certain kind of negotiating skills where sometimes some of us cannot be bothered to even work out proposals that we would take to government and follow them up. You get me? Not because the government is requesting that, let's say we don't have Ethiopian citizenship, so we are classified as foreigners. And the government, investment policy is asking for foreign investors to have 100,000 US in order to register their investment. So I can understand. I do understand this very well. The dynamic surrounding this though is, let's say we as Rastafari, with the knowledge that Haile Selassie created a place for us in the sun, and he is a son of the soil of Ethiopia. And we go to the Ethiopian government in a context whereby we're making it very clear that for the government to demand that we who are descendants of slaves that were taken away from Africa, so and so and so, we know all the little cliches, whatever, that we are statements that we can make, historical facts, so and so, and put it in such context and put it to the government of Ethiopia and say, in this context, you cannot make us compete with the slave masters, Sydney, and the slave traders, companies that have existed for hundreds of years.
Marge.
Yes.
You see that government that them have in Ethiopia?
Yes.
Has no sentiments to Haile Selassie nor the Rastafari movement.
Maybe they don't have.
Yes. So that is why now. Remember I mentioned is a sentimental thing.
Well,
such a man is a sentimental
but I'm not one who is just give up so easily.
No, it's not give up. It's not give up. You know, it's just Africa. You see, man, I say, well, if Ethiopia, if you have $100,000 invest, and you have $20,000, and when you go to Ghana, man, say $10,000. When you go another place, $10,000. Him say, well, I better just invest because still Africa I'm there.
But of course.
Yeah, so I'm not really into the whole heap of aggravation and sentimental value. Say, boy, right now, you know, such a man, and I start to give them land and this and that.
But I must tell you, I must be honest with you and admit that even in the context where I'm so strong in Ethiopia, I'm also tempted to go other places.
I'm not tempted. I don't tempt.
It's reality in the sense of business affairs. I do understand.
Yes.
I do understand, Muta.
Yeah.
And where the money counts, how you make a profit on your money.
Yeah.
Because even for me now, I'm tied up with a situation which I see is taking away my money rather than helping me to make money.
Yeah, and look,
I haven't been able to work for more than a year to earn my money.
Look there. All right. Look on in Addis Ababa now.
Yeah.
The Arab them take over. Most of the big building them and the massive business and thing is Arabs are going there with the oil money. And it's not the government alone. The government actually is seeking that. If no one see a man coming up $50,000 US.
Well, you see, they do have an investment policy, and the government is very serious about that.
The government is very capitalistic and American.
You know what? Recently, like 2 years ago, we were hearing that Ethiopia is the fastest growing nation on the soil on the continent of Africa, and it was growing by 6%. They say. Then last year they were saying it's growing by 11%. You know, and I think what his name is now is so caught up with that that he's just looking for investment wherever the money is coming from. That's what he wants to put up the skyscraper.
That's why I say no.
That kind of thing. Yeah, I'm not saying that we have to cater to that kind of thing.
I know, but if Rasta go to him, never talk about slavery and this. I'm knowing that. I'm not about no slavery and black people.
You can talk it that way, but I am not sure. If we have not tested the water, I don't think we should really come to that conclusion. I have heard, maybe these are reported speeches anyhow, and some of the things that I've seen in the newspaper regarding issues that having to do with Africa and African people. And when he speaks to these issues, it gives us sense that he has some kind of understanding of what is happening with African people when it comes to businesses, when it comes to wanting to settle in Africa, that kind of thing. But I'm saying, I don't know of any of our people who have really organized ourselves and gone to him in an organized way to negotiate a position.
And you have people come tell you, say, she don't know much at all, because many times they make declaration to the government and without any reasoning.
Making declaration is a different thing from putting forward a sensible proposal and following up.
Yes, and not even the Federation has put forward a proposal to the government.
I'm not saying that they haven't, but what I'm saying, Muta, the way we go about things can also determine the results.
Yeah, I understand.
And I have not seen the kind of statesmanship approach
by the Rastafari movement to the government.
To get a certain kind of response from a man like Menen.
Yeah, me understand
when I listen to Menen talk and I see how he does things there, I see that one has to approach him a certain way for him to even respond.
Yes. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying clearly.
Yeah.
And I also understand that within that level, man just decides, say, look here, Ghana for me, South Africa for me, look here, the investment is where we are talking about. And if a man cannot, it's like Jamaica now, and the Japanese them say, watch a man, we have to forget about we have to do something about the crime thing here before we can come really say we are going to really invest in Jamaica, you know.
Yeah.
All right. We know, without a doubt, just like Jamaica, we brand Ethiopia. It is a Rastafari movement that really bring a lot of tourism and a lot of popularity to Ethiopia. Ethiopians will tell you that in Washington.
Without a doubt, it's very clear to myself and to others.
Yeah, so if it wasn't for Rasta, Ethiopia wouldn't be that pronounced in the world. All right. So given that we have done that over the years, and given that people know, say, it's Haile Selassie we are dealing with, this government, I would have say, under this president here, is anti-Haile Selassie. That is what I say. Them is anti-Haile Selassie.
Yeah, that might be so. However, I would like
to... that might be so. You know, accept that.
Listen, Muta.
Yeah.
You see the way I have been approaching my business have given me lots of results that many others there in Ethiopia have not received. You understand me? I won't go into details here, but I have to tell you, by nature of my register in this business, that when I was processing the soybeans and I was actually marketing the product from Shashamane, I had to do my tax returns. I had to go.
Hold on. Sorry for cut you. Hold on. This is a Coaching January. If I'm talking to Madge Hilton, sister who left way. How much years she say? 8 years? 8 years ago?
Yeah, man, 8.5 years.
8 years ago and gone to Ethiopia. So, we are talking about investments and we are talking about the Rastafari making some kind of declaration to the government to see how it best can serve the Shashamane population and the Rastafari community who go up there. So in light of this not happening now, what is the position now? In light of this not happening. Because we see a whole heap of man set foot in there. We see like hotel a bill, we see this or that a bill, and like a man now move. so tell me, what?
Well, you see, when you cut a while ago, I was going to give you a touchable experience because I've gone through the system now and I see how the system works. And for me, having to do tax returns and go to the government bureaus on different levels, different government bureaus end up going now through some aspects of the court system, having to relate to immigration, that kind of thing. I now see how the system works. And I must also say to you, being there as a part of the Rastafari community, I've gone to meetings, locally, and I see how our community operates. And I'm there, and I'm hearing the comments from local government quarters and the comments from our community. And there needs to be some kind of balance of the reasoning and what is being put into the whole thing. Let's say, for market terminology, as Rastafari, we don't sell ourselves very well, but other people sell us and make a lot of money out of us. I see that happening even right here in Jamaica. And it has been happening over the years, and it seems like there's no end to it unless the Rastafari community become economically mature in the area of finances. How to apply finances and reasoning with it, the kind of proposal, the kind of administration, the kind of, what you'd say, constancy, sustainability, implementation, that kind of thing. What Ethiopia is looking for, and even His Majesty had said it. Remember, His Majesty said very clearly, Africa awaits its creation and its creator. The persons who had gone on behalf of the University of the West Indies to do some studies across Africa and had also gone to Ethiopia found that His Majesty was asking for persons with skills and, all kind of different kind of background that would really help the Ethiopian community. Being there myself, and hearing some of the comments coming from some government quarters, they're saying we're there and we're not doing anything, which it is not totally true, since you know that there are some of us who've made magnanimous efforts, and some of us suffer setbacks. Some people are still, thriving and doing something positive, but there are also others who have helped to change the name of Rastafari and have also, what you say now, caused many people in the government and even some Ethiopians to look down on us. Some of us have really undermined our capacity to move forward within Ethiopia and get certain positive things done. Some of them will say, let me say, I see brethren come to Ethiopia with money, and they well, they say they have investment permits, so and so, but they haven't done any projects. And so they will take out, they get the investment permit, and they either go back to America, go back to England, and they end up losing the permits because they've had the permits for so long and have not done very much with it. And the government then become very serious seeing that. The government has made a lot of efforts. It costs them as well to do all these processes, and then at the end of it, there is nothing happening. In addition to that, there are those who are there, who stay there, but waste away their money in things that are not relevant to the investment permit that they have taken on. And so recently it is being said that many of our people only get the permit just to have residence in Ethiopia, you know. So those things are being said. Many things are changed. Even last year, they changed a lot of things surrounding the investment thing. What they did, they asked everybody who came to register business, even including Ethiopians, to re-register. And a lot of people got caught. You know, some people never even knew that this re-registration was going on. Some who heard about it didn't even know that it also meant that they also had to go and register again, even though they were already registered and operating. You know, and so there are those dynamics, and there are other dynamics, peculiarities within the Rastafari community as well. There are myself going through the system. I see as I go along, because I'm onto my case, I do get assistance. I must say, there are those who make efforts to exploit my moves as well and the things I'm doing. But even within that context, there are others who are willing to help me to move forward and get ahead. You know? And there are governments, the way the government system is set up, they are willing to help us once they see that we are doing something positive and something that is sustainable that will help Ethiopia. I saw before I left there, university student coming to me because my name was still logged with the Research Institute for what I was doing there, to come and get information surrounding what I was doing and how, you know, they themselves could do some of these things to improve.
The government support the school, or the Rasta still do what they do?
You're talking about the school that was built there in Shashamane?
Yeah, we call them.
It needs support and sponsorship, but I must also say that some squabble developed around the school there that is well known, that, you know, put members in court having to answer questions and so on, and that turned off some people. So I can't say very much about. There are really two schools that have been built.
No, but the one they were Carl Philpott them involved with.
Right. Well, that one in particular ended up in court because of things that had happened there. Okay. I'm not at liberty to talk about this.
Okay.
So.
All right. The last time I was there, you see?
Yes.
It was the millennium, which was like long ago. All right. The government was scared of terrorism to the point where a lot of the function them that was supposed to go, they put off because there was an Al-Qaeda threat.
Yes.
Now we say the government involved with America to send troops in Somalia. Yes. And there's a thing now where people seeing it now that the Ethiopian government is very pro-America.
Yes.
To the point where now the militarization of that part of Africa is becoming so prominent now. Yes. And Ethiopia seems to be one of the stepping stone that America is using to push forward this thing. It's evident in Ethiopia that is what is happening, or it's just we outsiders see it that way there?
Sorry, it is becoming evident to once there. And even more so when the story broke that the American military is operating a base from which they have these unmanned drones.
Yeah, the Americans they must send unmanned drones from that base.
Yes. So when after the story broke, it was becoming very, very evident. You know, so and also when Ethiopia sent troops into Somalia for a second time because it had happened before. As a result of some United Nations mandate, there was some pullout, and then again they went back in there. But of course, as you say, because of the threat of Al-Qaeda, and there is more recent Al-Shabaab group, which because of, I can't say I know certain things. Because I read newspapers and I listen to the news that I can understand. That gives me some of the information. I also listen to some commentary. So I'm only speaking from those aspects.
News, yes.
Yes. And there was some time ago when I saw in one paper where there was a reasoning around how Al-Shabaab developed. And Al-Shabaab, they say, was created in Eritrea to fight Ethiopia. You know, it's an enigma to me that, you know, Al-Shabaab would be operating in Somalia. But given that Somalia has a long history of wars, we know what had happened with the Americans and Somalia a long time ago.
Black Hawk.
Yes. And because I think there's a vendetta out for Somalia. So lots of people do think this way as well. You know, America has never given up on how to subdue Somalia.
Yeah, and now they're using Ethiopia to do it.
So Ethiopia has now become a proxy. And one has to also understand that in many business as a partner.
Yes.
Not as one who wants to come and take over. They put it in those contexts, you know. So that's how it is. And when the whole thing was going on around Gaddafi, there was lots of analyzers who could say that the West now want to encroach upon the Middle East, upon Africa, in order to control our resources because they see the inroads that China has made. And they also see that Russia has a very dominant position in certain areas as well. And they would like to control these industrial development from the West. So that China and Russia don't have much of a hand on this.
On it, there's a serious thing going on. All right, so which part match they know?
What do you mean?
That's what you mean. Which part match they match?
You know, I
know say they are oh man, you must know what I mean, but I don't say they are Jamaica. I mean, all right, your brethren gone. Your brethren gone.
What I want to do.
What I mean, say your brethren gone.
Yes.
You're in court for certain things.
Yes.
You know, you need to deal with certain other things. That may I say no. So which part match they know?
And I was just saying to you, I must leave it to the powers of the Most High, listener said, to direct my thoughts. You know? At this point in time, there's still a sense of unclearness as to how things will develop, because my life in many ways is an enigma to me. Just the way how things have happened and
develop and underdevelop,
Yes, because right now I thought I would have a stable company, you know, passing things around the world right now. And it's not happening, you know.
And then your bridging go past where again make it worse. So, man, anyway, so, well, I mean, give thanks for have you. You know, give thanks for spend the time with you, and we know there's a lot of reasons we usually have. You know, and you're gone, and Ethiopia left me.
Well, not totally. You know, if it was so, because I've been here in the spirit with Dad.
The beautiful, the beautiful thing about the stage where we reach now is that we have the position now where we can go, we can move.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time when we couldn't move.
Yeah.
There was a time when we feel say, boy, if we move, we can't get to move again. But now we see the reason, the thing reach a stage now where for those who want to go and those who want to come and those who want to go and come and this and that, it's dead upon the board.
But it's kind of interesting that you make that statement, because it seems like you're making that statement for me to tell you a little more of my experience in trying to get here.
To get here?
It took me 6 weeks to get to Jamaica. And in the process, I lost 3 tickets.
So where you coming from exactly?
Right? So what happened is when I eventually get to Kenya, and because Kenya, in a sense, just like aspects of Ethiopia, South Africa.
Right on the border, they're on the border.
Yes, I have an international hub too.
Mm.
So I thought that it has been easy to come from Kenya to Jamaica, and then when I made an effort to get my tickets now, I realized that I have to either go to London or America, and I have been asking that I get a ticket that doesn't necessarily take me through these places, because I have a Jamaican passport and I know the requirements for visas. And since I am not in the country where I'm resident, where I can show certain things to them to prove that I am not going to these places to stay. I'm only passing through these places. You know? So I didn't want to go that route. But I was forced to stay in Kenya longer than I wanted to.
Okay.
In order and make an application to the British Empress
visa
to get a transit visa. You know, and it bothered me, the kind of questions that were being asked. It's because I want a transit visa, I have to give them, like giving them all of my personal information. You know, and that bothered me. Anyway, what it showed is that there is still some element of obstacle, in the sense that I thought that I would have gone to Nigeria or Ghana, because these are places that I wanted to go for a long time as well. And I also learned that there were flights coming to Jamaica from these places. When I inquire as to how I could get a flight from Nigeria directly to Jamaica or from Ghana directly to Jamaica, I was being told that you can't. They all go through London.
Yeah.
I said, what? I couldn't believe it. You know? So anyhow, it shows me that there's a certain kind of mechanism set up to control our movement.
They had a flight to Barbados from Nigeria, I know.
Directly?
Yeah, from Nigeria to Barbados. They had a flight, but it do away with. I don't know why it gone, but it do away with.
Oh, well.
Yeah. And now I am told, and it was told in public, that a certain Jamaican is now thinking and having a airline that will travel between Jamaica and Ghana.
Well, I just hope it happens real soon, because I must tell you that even while I'm there in Kenya, these are the things I'm saying. So this is what Marcus Garvey was saying. How is it that even at this time, when so many of our black entrepreneurs are earning by the millions, we still don't have the means of transport by air or ship? You know? We still have to be depending on Caucasians to provide us.
To go 9 miles to London and then another 8 miles to come back in Africa.
It's crazy.
Sorry, not 9 miles. I mean 9 hours.
9 hours.
And then another 8 hours again for go back to Africa.
But it's over 9 hours. It's over 9 hours for both trips, you know, Mula.
Yes.
For me, for my trip, it's over 9 hours.
Yeah,
one
because Kenya
9.5 and one is 9 hours, 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. But what I just said to you was said in public, though, about this airline.
Yeah.
It was said in public in front of hundreds of people. I don't want to call the first name.
It's all right. It's all right. I just pray it happens.
The idea of an airline from Jamaica, I mean, the idea was from Air Jamaica, you know.
Oh.
I will never hear, I don't know what happened, but Here Jamaica didn't mention such a flight.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's about 5 hours from here, so if you go down to Ghana, you know.
Yeah.
Traveling straight.
Of course.
And go, I think, you can't make even stop in Brazil.
Yeah.
Really. And it's still
Right.
shorter.
I keep looking at the map, you know. I keep looking at the map, and I'm just telling you, it really puzzles me how we can't work out.
Terrible. But you know,
I can
hope,
see the system is fully manipulated.
yeah, and I hope that the people them who mentioned this airline,
Yeah.
really serious, and it's not just a suggestion that they were suggesting.
But let's say not only we expect them to be serious, but we pray that there are not certain kind of obstacles and manipulation to stop them from being able to do
Yeah, money can make things happen though. Money make whole heap of things happen. Trust me. You understand?
Well.
Anyway, give thanks, man. Give thanks.
Let me just feel up ones and ones again, you know, and give thanks for this opportunity.
All right, give thanks.
More love.
All right, this is the Cutting Edge on RFM. We was talking to. I know what one out there know, you know. It's long time I don't hear from that, you know. Believe you me. And she was down Peter Tosh celebration, and I say, Marge, I forget you on the Cutting Edge. So I did fulfill it. Marge on the Cutting Edge, you know. As we depend Marge on the Cutting Edge, and I say it long Peter Tosh thing. Next week program going to be a very strange program. Strange in that it's Buju Banton the program going to deal with next week. You know, I mean, people always ask, how you get for those come up with these things, so. But the euphoria of Buju Banton kind of settled down, but there was an article in a newspaper in Florida, very interesting article, and well, we're not asking more than next week, we're going to have someone's not in the studio, because them they are foreign, to talk about this Buju Banton thing, this thing about Buju Banton. You understand? We're going to have about 4 people, including Louis Farrakhan. Yeah, you hear me right. It's all about Buju Banton. We're going to have including Louis Farrakhan. So it's going to be very interesting and very insightful to hear certain things that you might never did hear, that you never did hear during the quiz and during the time.
Greetings, Brethren.
Yes, sir.
I always have some valuable information to put forward to. And where I say there's a lot of hurdles to jump over.
Yeah.
And when the positive mind come forward, the hurdle can jump over. We are vibrating vibration from a longer Iowa.
True.
Long Iowa. We know say it can happen.
Of course.
But just to find yourself in the right position at the right time.
Yeah, man.
Because these people who are roast breadfruit on here, who are not structuring the thing towards the Africa development and the Africa function, there are obstacles. Yeah. And some of them in some very high position.
But you know,
some of them are some wheeler dealers around here.
Yeah, but you know, so we are telling them Africa is a way, and they make it sound like, say, what is the basis for say that? And it's going to become a reality. We know. You know,
we love it.
If you know what I'm saying, the watchman to the danger and don't want the people, the blood of the people who are in behind the shoulder. We as Rasta on here, I tell them, say, look here, economically, politically, spiritually, Africa we should all look for. Now we see the West divert them attention, you know. The white societies are divert them attention to Africa. You know, we, Caribbean people, we are talking about now, Caribbean leaders, still hang up on America, England, and all these things. When we say those economy is failing.
You know, one of the things we feel for all on is the fact where the enslavement our foreparents and the so-called diversion of the energy where in the Africa consciousness kind of get warped and warped.
Yes.
We face to hold on upon that as if that is a reality of what is causing these people who claim to them are leaders. The majority of the so-called Caribbean ones them, we can put in the thing to divert the reality of going into America, going into England, going into Germany, in which Germany a little bit better still, because I give thanks for the opportunity as a Rasta we come here about the Carol Garden massacre, and when Andrea do that program there, I lay down in my bed and I want to run out of eye bridging. Because I can feel inside the eye the core of Africa, the core of the royal family of Ethiopia. I can feel authenticity in I in Rastafari. And there's many ones who pave the way for I that I can even talk to the eye right now. And in I journey into Ethiopia, I give thanks for the opportunity to go see that a baby I am Bongo Rocky.
And you was one of the resilient man who say, me not have no visa to go to America, but me still go to Africa. Me go find somewhere to reach Ethiopia. Me love the eye resilient.
Beloved, you know, say it's a good time we not talk to the eye.
I mean, I remember say when the eye did want to go and they talk to me, and they I realized why him can't go, you can't go to America, you can't go to England, you just find another way and reach Ethiopia.
Beloved, it was the best time of my life.
Okay, see there?
I tell you, the best time of my life.
And you know why it's so sweet to you? It's all you reach, you know.
And even the fact where it entrench the way of life that I choose from them time, you know, from an early stage.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I know, so I never go through no great rebelliousness from my elderly parents, them. You know what I say? It just bring about a fullness and to even get the opportunity to go in an Haile Selassie's palace. So you cannot irate the feet.
You talk about going to the palace, want to sleep all in our bed. when we go to Ethiopia, the Haile Selassie bed, we go sleep.
And that's it, sure, you know.
Yes.
But beloved, you know, I take a move from up front and not necessarily the behind, but I just look forward to the time when these minds can come together.
Yes.
And the recognition have come through these little brothers where I do them interview and we are coming on here for no say here we are going. The reality of the thing have to manifest.
Yes.
The way it's supposed to manifest.
Yeah, man.
Because people have the sun. Yeah, as I say, we give thanks for the fact where we go and heal up
and see
the two elder.
Go and see. Yes.
Yeah, I'm pay homage to them, beloved.
You give thanks, man.
Yeah, man, we give thanks. You know, I will give thanks for the information with the data. Let's set out because we did it in a Shashamane, Addis Ababa. Yeah, our book of Joseph, which is Steve Golden brother.
Yeah.
And a mistake happened where I end up with a paper, which are an investment paper, where I said to myself, but I need to go to these places to get these information in terms of, you know, the whole investment proposal when I just talk about, have to get an understanding of the inwardness.
Yeah.
And I over say it's difficult. Just as they are placed, it's difficult.
Yeah, man.
And I over with the data say in terms of making the necessary move inwards based upon the reasoning of Haile Selassie, which is I. It can't happen.
Yeah.
Beloved, we love the eye.
Yeah, man. Give thanks, Bridget.
Don't leave her yet. I publicly made the whole world know say the eye is a performer. Because they put on a show within the emancipation part, beloved. Not even when I die, rebel salute.
Yes.
It's sweet, so.
Yes, your people are talking about it.
I love the eye and I love Baba Zero, you know?
Yeah, man.
Because the eye is a source of strength within I whole function in Rastafari.
Give thanks, brethren.
Haile Selassie.
Rastafari. Yes, man. Cutting edge. You know, say, it's a serious thing. We are going, you know, the whole month of January, we did an interview all female and we did some program for all female. You know, say, we can't stop. We can't stop it all. No, because we start March again, interview female. We just start to March from Ethiopia. Well, next week we're going to divert because we say Bush Bantan, they're on the list. But we have some things where we want go forward into. Remember in the early days of cutting edge. We want to go forward into them things because we have a generation now we never hear them things there presented on radio. You understand? So we want to spend maybe March, April, May and go forward in some of them long time thing. And maybe not a long time to some of the listeners now because them you never hear it yet. But I mean all the listeners want to hear back certain things where we used to do from them days there. So we're going to spend maybe like 3 months. March, April, May. Yeah, maybe, yeah. About 2.5 months. I do that. Just go forward in some long time cutting edge vibes. You understand?
Hello?
Yeah, blessed.
Yeah, blessed Muto.
Yes.
Talking about Caribbean people taking an interest, or in general African people in the diaspora taking an interest in Africa, or what is going on with other groups of people exploiting, and we're just sitting on here looking on instead of taking piece of the action, or seeking to anyway.
Yeah.
We need to mobilize ourselves. So maybe we should have put on some seminars more to sensitize people. Or some of the particularly some of the people who are making political decisions in our country.
Yeah. You mean we who know about what we are going on, they sensitize these people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what. Well, I know the reach of the continent is wide, but I think I make the suggestion before, you know, I should give us some replay during the day, you know.
Of the cutting edge?
Yeah, man.
Maybe they should have put to either the day I give the replay or the night.
I know it. I know it. Yeah. We need bigger hit.
Yes,
Are you aware of your retail program out in African countries?
Well, it depends on the internet. When we go to Africa,
so anybody connect, we can link up.
Yeah, man, them listen all over the world, man.
Finland, listen all over the world.
Finland and all them places.
Checking about Africa now.
Yeah, I think what happened now is that I think them hear the cutting edge still, you know. It's not like everybody asleep, you know. I think somebody's sleeping here the cutting edge, but just that it's the messenger them are watching and not the message. Well, there's a reluctance to see the message because of who's sending the message. It's like reggae music.
There again, they were missing out or have missed out. But it's not too late for us to recapture this.
No, it's not too late.
There's technology to enable us to those who never benefit to the extent that they could in years gone by can do so now, and even if they're passed on, their state can benefit from it. But we need to get serious about it.
Yeah, but you know what?
We need some serious business lawyers.
Yes,
right?
Interested in it.
Yeah, get interested, and then we need financial community. Need to create some pockets of funds that can be utilized in that way.
But it marvel like for instance now you have like India.
Like where?
India, highly technological, very interested in Africa. We have a thing named CARICOM.
No, forget about that.
No.
Not just to keep with
no, but just I mention something to you that it's very interesting that a lot of these leaders in the Caribbean, right, looking upon the obvious. The obvious is that there's certain thing that is not benefiting the Caribbean now, and the thing is the links with England and America. Because right now America look out for itself totally. It looks like fire start an ex-wife and make some money. And the thing that steering our eye where these people is going to Africa. There must be something happening in Africa why these people is flashing to there. Then how we can't see it. How these leaders in the Caribbean can't see it.
Yeah, because the place is ripe for commercial or exploitation or development. You have development, you have opportunities for commercial activity, and to gain from it,
Then
why we not putting our foot forward?
And that may I say, how the leaders
well, it's so narrow, but it's part of the miseducation.
Yeah. That's why I say no. Vision. That's why I say no. This is the messenger. Is the problem. It's not the message, To sometime, them hear the message, But it's when them look at this who carry the message. As I said, just like reggae music can benefit Jamaica in many ways, but you see who did really involve in the reggae music, don't allow them to put them foot out feet.
Well, we're short-sighted, my friend.
They're short-sighted.
They're very short-sighted.
In the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed
Eurocentric view of what we need to do or how we need to position ourselves.
Yeah.
And there's something I want to share with you. It's about water. Right? There's a developing shortage of water worldwide.
Over the world, yes.
Potable water.
Yeah.
But I linking it up to trade now. An expansion of certain civilization. It is said that he who controls the waterways controls the trade.
Yes.
What do you make of that?
I am seeing Mad Max involved in this thing. I don't know if you know about the movie named Mad Max.
No, I'm not a movie person.
All right.
Me read them on with the movie thing that try to mess up your brain.
No, wait. Let me tell you what I deal with now. That it's going to reach a stage where it's not oil people are fight for. It's not gold.
It has reached there.
It's water.
It has reached there.
And people
the water thing. Because you can't have development or expansion
without water.
Without adequate source of water. Clean water, potable water. And that is what unlimited
development,
expansion, and from donkey's ages.
Yes.
Before the time of even Christ, if you look back first.
I remember, so we're surrounded by water. Most Jamaicans never go see it.
Yeah, I know, that's a funny thing. Anyhow, just to fit a few pieces of the jigsaw. Because I hear you talking about Ethiopia and the militarization of what's going on in
Africa.
The horn, what they call the Horn of Africa.
Yeah.
Right? But people who are so sensitized, they can look at the straits around the world.
Yeah.
And how the colonizers had positioned themselves at the entrance and exit of these different waterways or the straits.
Yes.
Right? And you get a picture.
Yeah. Yes.
He who controls the waterway controls the trade.
Yeah,
and he who controls the trade make the money.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Now with globalization, no matter where they're goods have to move.
Yes.
And it runs along the shipping
waterways, yes.
And I hear a prominent person always talk about the difference between us and Singapore. But they didn't put into the equation or the picture the value of the Strait of Malacca. Which Singapore is right at the edge of it. Singapore, Malaya.
Yeah.
And that's a key thing.
Well, the Panama Canal was a key thing.
Likewise, we have a situation here where we write on the footprints of the Panama Canal. And we're sitting down dead in the water doing nothing.
Yes.
And a big expansion taking place, kick off late next year, I think. And we're sitting down here and we're not saying, hey, deal with peace of action.
Yeah.
And I hear a guy, I don't know, seriously, say that there are pockets of Jamaicans that went down there to build the canal.
Panama Canal.
Right? Yeah. And they're making links with it, and them say, boy, there are opportunities down there if you can make the links between the past generation.
Yes.
Make a connection and do things.
Yeah. Yeah, man, water, you're right, man.
No, well, it's a known fact.
Yeah, you're right.
Not me to say, though.
Yeah. If you look at the different waterways,
the
Suez Canal.
Yeah, because if you look around, I could name some of them. Strait of Hormuz.
Yes.
Right? That is why the man after the Persians, right? And no call him Iran, but the Persians, right? The Bosphorus, right? Up around there. Suez Canal, you know?
Yes.
Strait of Gibraltar.
Yes.
Right? And you come across here now, you're talking about the Panama Canal.
You have the Cape too.
Key strategic factors in terms of dealing with shipping. And no trade can take place without shipping, and it's even more crucial these days at the rate of where goods are moved. Because you can manufacture it anywhere and get it anywhere around the world within 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, man. A place like even Dover to Rati.
What's that?
Even Dover, as small as Dover is. The Dover from England to over to Europe.
Oh, that.
Just a little waterway there is very significant and important because you have train where run under this water now to connect Europe with England. You know, so them waterways there some very serious thing.
Well, let us switch back to CARICOM now and the outlook of our present leaders and what they're trying to do. We need to forget about CARICOM, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
You need to take a wider look, and we have big Africa there.
No, yeah,
right? Because nothing can happen in the Caribbean here to make the people in the Caribbean get wealthy, you know.
Yes.
We're talking about the mass of the population. Right?
Yes.
We're not talking about the few float up to the top.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with a very small population.
Yeah.
And in any case, even if you just take the Caribbean, we only take off a little piece of it. Right?
Yeah.
If we're not talking to the people who speak Spanish and talk to people who speak French, we're not doing anything. We want them slice up a thing and keep it sliced up. And we don't learn a different language. We can't communicate.
Yes. Yeah.
Hard to do business.
Yeah, and we don't realize that English is the least spoken language in the Caribbean. People don't know that, you know.
No,
that English is not the largest.
Because it's so where I get the thing from, I tell you, say, well, it's predominant.
It's not the predominant language in the Caribbean.
They're not sure, you say, oh, it affects us in the Caribbean, yeah. And then the other thing, I think I heard you say something the other day. We must stop using this term West Indies, you know. West Indian, you know.
Yes.
The only thing that applies to is probably cricket.
Yes.
And that's who mash up.
And I don't think we should have keep saying it.
There's no such place as the West Indies.
It's a mistake Columbus make.
It's a mistake he makes?
Yeah, it's a mistake.
It's British colonialism designate the thing, man.
No, it's Columbus believed that he was in the India.
Yeah, I know.
Traveling west, him say the west of India.
Yeah.
You know.
No, but look here. Don't follow what you hear them say about Columbus, you know.
No, me not.
Columbus is a lot smarter than...
Yeah, but him thinks him did in India, though. Him thinks him did in India.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
I'm not too sure about that.
Anyway, check this.
Columbus knew that the Africans were coming across the Atlantic long before he did.
Columbus died in Spain, believing that he found a trade route to India when he reached Anya.
Yeah, we need to relook that piece of it.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because when they're coming across, man, the man know that he may not come to somewhere else other than India.
Well, the Moors direct him. Because those were the people them who know about trade routes and shipping things in Spain. I remember the Moors did it for 700 years. So those North Africans who was called the Moors did deeply involved in a shipping and all these longitude and latitude in Spain. So this is where him get this idea from. Because them did believe that the world is flat.
Yeah.
So when him want to go to India, him say I would do it by traveling west. And him end up Anya, so. So it's Anya, so him then know and think him was in the west part of India.
Yeah, I know the name come about, you know. But,
give me so I know really...
want to leave that be.
I know I call myself Indian in Norway, and I know my people to talk about I am Indian. I know Indian. I say, I'm in Bancha.
We hear what comments of other folks right
Yeah, man, give thanks.
All right.
Yes, cutting edge.
Yeah. Glad to be here. Been listening for over a decade, and it's my first conversation.
All right, sir.
But we know each other.
Okay.
And I'm still wearing your clothes.
You still are wear my clothes?
Yeah.
I wonder who for clothes me have on.
Well, full clothes have on.
Yeah.
That's still working.
All right, sir.
So listen now. I'm inviting you this year, as soon as you can make it, to Sam Sharp's birthplace.
Where and when this is happening?
I'm inviting you to Sam Sharp's birthplace as soon as you can make it. When can you make it?
Oh, yeah, when me can make it. All right.
Yeah.
Where?
Sam Sharp born in Catadupa.
Yeah. So you want me to come to Catadupa?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you coming?
Well, I have to go figure that out. Because I know I'm going to go in a month to be here. On the 6th of April.
That's far, man. You don't have one day between now and that time?
No.
To talk about Sam Sharp?
No. I can't come that way there between now and that time.
April when?
The 6th of April.
Well, 6th of April.
Because me move.
Yeah, man, I know you move, man.
Yeah, so. I'm you have to go remind me too.
No, I'm going to remind you.
Half year.
Half year too?
Yeah.
But on air.
Yeah, remind me. Yeah, tell me.
No, on air before.
Yeah.
Remind you. I am happy for April 6th, but I'm happy for April 6th with a small condition. The 23rd of May is his birthday.
Sam Sharp birthday.
Yeah.
Then I better tell me if you come the 23rd of May then.
No, because if you come and we run the 6th of April, we can plan it right.
Oh, you want me plan it too?
Me want you party. Yeah.
No, party don't mean me have to plan it.
No, you have to help we plan it.
Plan it and then we come party.
No, more you help with plan it. Right, we.
We can't stay a kids and plan something with you in a Catadupa.
But you don't come and look for the birthplace how it look now.
No, I don't matter of coming in. I talk about plan, a function.
No, I'm not talking about a function. It's a plan for your birthday.
Then a birthday, then a function. You have a plan for the birthday.
No, I'm gonna plan something that is giving back due to him.
Well, you plan it and I
come. More than a function.
Well, you plan it and me come.
More you help, so more you come and see the place.
Yeah, all right.
But our here, you say April 6th, I'm going to hold it to that.
Yeah, April 6th, maybe a man to go be here.
Yeah. You can pick you up, man, and carry come up here.
All right, sir. All right. Yeah, man, all right. Yeah, give thanks. Yes. We're talking about the 6th of April, which is in Jared Park. You know, the 6th of April, the Rastafari community come together and remember that weekend, 1 year after independence, 1963, the atrocities that was done against Rastafari in Montego Bay and surrounding areas. Them call it the Coral Garden incident. So on the 6th of April, we will be in the park. Memory. Don't leave like people do. And Crack is here using him finger to clean the place. Easy to Crack take off the t-shirt and clean up the place, man. Because you know how your finger now. I go between all them buttons and now to clean it. Crack no easy, Crack come here 1 o'clock to clean out the place. Crack, you want me shot? You don't want me shot for white on the place? Because I see that they are clean. You know easy, Crack. Crack, more I look on my computer for me do, you know. I years if you go look on my computer, I look on it, you know. In the morning. I mean, I understand all my things lock off, you know. Anytime they are foreign, I'm in my hotel room. I'm want to listen to Cutting Edge. More I like no, so I can listen to Cutting Edge, you know.
I see the problem you got past.
Every time when you give me things, you have 1 day left for your subscription. So I say, I want the money Rasta, whatever give me 50 D. Hey, when Mr. Young give me things, you know, Mr. Young give me a 3 year and 2 year, you know. From Mr. Young God to Rat, every time you have 50 days for your subscription. When we go back and fire it again, we say, you have 10 days for your subscription. Or we go back and fire it again, we say, sorry, but your subscription has been cancelled. This is one of them people.
It's one phone call, man.
Oh, gosh, but then I them well while it's the cutting edge, you know. And when we say, wow, cutting edge, boom, boom, nothing. I tell you, some people come in and come, burn down at the ice, up at the office there. With them man who put in the thing that we there. Anyway, it was program up again.
I do it.
So you can't do it? You just fix computer?
Well, fix computer, but that's not my job here.
No, but me not talk about your job here. Me talk about separately crack as my computer wizard as opposed to...
Hey, no, but I'm not I don't respond to IT.
No, me not talk about the IT, no. I crack, me talk to you, know, me not talk about crack the IRFM work, I know. Me talk about crack working for Muta.
Okay.
Where it's not IRFM time and business, me tell you because you know, you know.
Okay.
It's your time and you get your money.
Okay.
Me talk about say my computer want fix.
Come on.
So me want give the computer, make you fix it, because me know say you are the only man right now when we that trust say pull my computer for going there. Because me know say if you match it up, you're going to pay for it.
No problem with that. No problem.
All right, crack. Right, well, I love crack, you know. Right, crack are the biggest Christian dog guy that the name crack. I believe you, me. Are the sweetest joke. Are the biggest Christian in IRFM. Are the name crack. I'm me and my best friend. So you must know, say, things are going on for me. Okay. Because if crack can't listen to me, I say, I know. The moment you become educated, you have become unintelligent. Can't you see this? The educated person behaves very unintelligent. Go to the primitive people who have never been educated, and you will find a pure intelligence functioning. I have heard a woman was trying to open a tin, and she could not figure out how to do it. So she went to look in the cookbook. By the time she looked into the book, the cook had opened it. She came back, and she was surprised. She asked the cook, how did you do it? How did you open this tin? He said, lady, when you don't know how to read, you have to use your intelligence. This is the cutting edge on IRFM. Coming through. Aye. Yes. That was very funny. That's very funny. When you cannot read, you have to use your intelligence. Yes, it is right. When you don't know how to read, you have to use your intelligence. What else can you do? The moment you start reading those 3 dangerous R's, when you have become capable in them, you need not be intelligent. The books will take care of it. Have you watched it? When a person starts typing his handwritings in lust, then his handwriting is no longer beautiful. There's no need. The typewriter takes care of it. If you carry a calculator in your pocket, you will forget all mathematics. There's no need. Sooner or later, everybody will be carrying small computers, which them start to do now, because this book was written before the advent of a whole heap of these computers. Sooner or later, everybody will be carrying small computers. They will have all the information of an Encyclopedia Britannica, and there will be no need for you to be intelligent at all. The computer will take care of it. Go to the primitive people, the uneducated people, the villagers, and you will find a subtle intelligence. Yes, they are not very informed. That is true. They are not knowledgeable. That is true. But they are tremendously intelligent. Their intelligence is like a flame with no smoke around it. The society has done something wrong with the human beings for certain reasons. It wants you to be slaves. It wants you to be always afraid. It wants you to be always greedy. It wants you to be always ambitious. It wants you to be always competitive. It wants you to be unloving. It wants you to be full of anger and hatred. It wants you to remain weak, imitative, carbon copies. It does not want you to become original and unique and rebellious. No. That's why your intelligence has been destroyed. Oh, true. Our intelligence gone. And I find that a lot of people who read the Bible give up their intelligence. Lot of people, even people who claim that them intelligence. A lot of people who read the Bible and start to, lot of people, even people who claim that them intelligence. A lot of people who read the Bible and start to live just like that according to the Bible, give up them intelligence. Because whenever you start to question something in the Bible, you hear them say, you can't question it because it's the word of God. So right away you know, say, them give up them intelligence. Because really and truly, if you start to use your intelligence, you will realize that a lot of things in that book has nothing to do and no relevance to our life in this time. This is the Cutting Edge on RFM.
Hello?
Yes.
As is Mota.
Blessed man.
Yes, I've been listening to you as usual, and you made a point that I found very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about people tuning in on the messenger and not the message. And I'm looking at it from a perspective in that a lot of people are focusing on the emperor as a person and not his messages.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this to mean that if we tune in on his utterances...
No, I think you get me wrong when that talk, you know.
Huh?
I think you get me wrong when I did that talk.
No. I think I understand where you're coming from.
No, what I was explaining is that the reason why them don't accept the message is because them are look on the messenger. So, in order to understand that the messenger is as important as the message, because if the messenger go to them with an argument, them not going to accept it because them looking upon the messenger. Them don't want to accept it. Just like reggae. It's because where reggae coming from, why them don't accept it. Them don't want to accept the authors of reggae. So them don't want to accept the authors, the cutting edge, the Muta Baruka who said this thing. Them don't want to accept Muta Baruka because of where Muta Baruka come from and who Muta Baruka is. Even though they might say the message is a good message, but because of the messenger, them don't want to accept it.
Well, I agree with you, and I understand that is where you're coming from. That's why I'm saying I want to look at it from another perspective, and I want to put this now in what you just said in relation to the emperor.
Yeah.
A lot of men who say is Rasta, they can so easily call the name of the emperor and Rastafari off him lips. But if you ask them one thing of the emperor ever say,
them don't know.
Them don't know.
Yeah.
And I put this in the context that he has provided us a template to be a successful creator.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And because we're not really tuning into that.
And where must say,
yeah, we're depending on other people for guide us.
Yeah.
And so, I'll tell this in relation to what you're talking about, the Shashamane and the problems people having the God and they're not prepared and they're not, you know what I mean, to really make the kind of contribution that is really relevant.
Yeah.
And I find that one of the things the emperor really talk about is education.
Yeah.
And if every Rastaman did get himself properly educated, I'm not talking about just school, but as you know, knowledge and everything. Equipping himself with the skills of life.
Yeah.
Right? He'd be able to be, we as a collective would be in a better position to not wait on people to help us. we'd be helping ourselves. So we'd have more lawyers, we'd have more doctors, we'd have more people in the places of power that we need them to be, to make the strategic decisions that are necessary for our upward and forward movement. I don't know if you agree with that.
Well, partly yes. Partly yes. I mean, there's the Rastafari just come into them we being now of understanding. Because you have to remember which part Rasta come from. And it take quite a while now for your next generation come understand it in a next way. And I think the generation is here now, where to understand it in a next way, that you need to put certain things in place that maybe the elders them wasn't capable of. So them carry the torch. So you have to take now the torch and carry it further. You know, so that is really what face Rastafari today. That
yeah, but when we say Rastafari Muta, you know, if I go to 40 different men who say it's Rasta, it's 40 different things I tell Rasta mean.
But that is a beautiful thing about Rasta. That is a beautiful thing about Rasta. That 40 different man experience it 40 different way. You know, a man in a New York now going to experience Rasta same way like a man in a Westmoreland. So when they might explain it, it's a different way I might explain it. But if you check the focus height and the focal point height, all of them come to the same conclusion. So the explanation is just the board to lead you to something, but it's not the journey is the explanation, you know, but it's not the destination. You see, so the explanation is not the destination. Because all of them will come to the same destination.
Well, that's the aim.
Yeah, so the beautiful thing about it is that, but 40 different men don't have to experiencing the same thing, don't have to explain it the same way.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of it in the perspective of as a collective, you know, just like how the Chinaman move as a collective.
No, I don't know about that, you know.
Well, when I say move as a collective, in the sense that they have the culture that them use to form their mindset.
All right, I can tell you something. In India, a Hindu, you hardly find two Hindu explain the same thing the same way, you know.
That's true.
Nobody don't find it confusing.
Yeah.
It's only when Rasta, you talk to a Rasta over here, so them say one thing, you say, well, only so confusing. I not see no confusion in it. I see that it is not a religion that everybody go to church and it's a 7 days, so every 7 day explain this way.
No, I'm not saying confusion, you know.
What I say is that
I'm just thinking about how can we collect what we're doing as a collective.
The collective,
you're talking for years.
Well, you have to divide now the spirituality from the material. Because most of the time when we talk in terms of collective security, we are talking about the physical well-being of the group. So the physical well-being of the group have to come through economics, social order, and sometimes politics.
Exactly.
So we have to separate now the church from the state in that way.
Right.
I don't want to use the word church and state, but we have to know how to not make the priests govern the state.
Right.
And not make the military govern the church.
Right.
You see? So there must be a way where the Rasta man in his spirituality have to realize that there must be a balance between the material and the spiritual, which is that Haile Selassie claim.
Right.
Haile Selassie talking about balancing the material and the spiritual, you know. Not giving up one for the other. Because it is both of them that makes the complete man.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we know, because we were concentrating on the spiritual, or the elders them, was concentrating on the spiritual. Them never know about this material part.
Exactly.
See, so
the material part of that is education.
Yeah, well, not education, but a sort of intelligence towards what is happening here.
Right.
So what happening now is that there's a group that come after these elders, like myself and others in my age group, and then there's a next group, like my children them, who is coming with a perspective that the elders didn't have, which is what now we're talking about, the balancing now of trade and industry and understanding commerce and economics and money.
Exactly, and that brings me back to my point, Musa, what I was saying, the emperor provides a template for all of that, because Enough matter about Rastafari is a spiritual thing I'm talking about. But them not focusing on the templates that the emperor provides for us in all of them years.
Well, you have to go and concentrate on it then. Because you don't have man who concentrate on the spirit, and you have man who concentrate on the material. So
right, that's true. So
if you feel say it is very important to you to concentrate on that aspect, continue. But you have a next man now in the Nyabinghi, him do business about no material nothing until you catch him. You say when you catch him just catch him. You have Buddhists who them chant for what them want and for what them shall receive.
Right.
See, so them don't really, it's not like you lay out a plan. Rasta is not unique to certain things, you know. Because you have Buddhists, you don't lay out a plan in certain ways, you know. Because you know, say, well, all right, if you pray or if you meditate, it will fall into place. That is a spiritual. Yeah,
but so, I'm just thinking in terms of how we as a people then can collect all of this spiritual and the balance you talk about for us to move forward as a effective force.
Yeah, well, we have to put into place now that mindset that relieve us of that spiritual bondage, as I would say, into a more now material openness. But then we must allow the material openness to bandage we. Just like how we must allow the spirituality to bandage we. So we need that material openness. You know, definitely, Rastafari need a serious material openness.
Yeah, we need people in the places of power.
Yes.
But just like how the Jew them make sure them put themselves in every little thing.
Well, you have to have finance to do that, you know, believe you me. Because you know, say, most President America are millionaire, you know. And poor people turn President of America, you know.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yes.
But
millionaire
something have to give.
Yeah, well, something have to give. The poorness have to give. The poorness have to give. Trust me, you have to get some money. You have to get some money to get power. Believe you, money is power.
How you get that?
Eh?
How you get that?
Well, you have to work. Sometimes you have to thief. Sometimes, you don't know. I mean, there's many ways to get money. Some people work. Some people structure. Most of the people them who own the place them in Jamaica is handed down from them for them generation who was not under bondage and slavery. You know, see, so you have a class of people in Jamaica who, even though it might look like black people now work for own nothing, the opportunity didn't arise for them to own anything because it was owned by the minority group. And the minority group is not necessarily the most educated. Because the black majority, you can find very serious educated people in the black majority, but in terms of the economical space that should be there, it is closed because of a generation of minorities in Jamaica who control that part of the thing. And it's very difficult for you find foot inside of that. You have certain business in Jamaica where just certain people control that, certain family. The other day we talked to Andrea Williams and she tell me about a 7 family. We think there was 20 at family control Jamaica. Though Andrea tell me say 7 family control Jamaica. So what I say is that within that space, it's very difficult for the black majority find a hole in a certain space in Jamaica. No care how much education them have. No care how much education you have. There is certain economic. I mean, I talk about become prime minister. Because prime minister don't necessarily have no more business than you have certain class of people in Jamaica where you know own this and you own that, and then them generation it get handed down to them like supermarket get handed down and the family go run the supermarket and the family do this and the family do that. Them no more educated than me and you.
Right. Well, as I said, I wasn't even thinking of education just as academic.
That's why I never want to use the word education.
Right.
I never want to use the word education.
Okay. But I mean, you know, the semantics. We can talk about this thing all night.
But I agree with you. You know, that we need Rastafari need to analyze him economical and social situation and develop institutions around that.
Exactly.
I agree with you, brethren.
Alright, so I don't want all of the time. I just want to leave one word to your listeners, which I know are worldwide, is that I just heard from a fellow Rasta brethren, is that empower yourself, you can get yourself in positions where you can have strategic power to shape policies and those things and make a move forward.
Make a difference.
If we don't do that, it's going to make the struggle harder.
Harder, yeah, man.
Love my brother.
Give thanks. Yes, and speaking of education, the man said, for example, the education that I would like in the world will not require a child to answer in the old stereotyped way. It will not encourage repetition, parroting. It will encourage inventiveness, even if the invented answer is not as right as the copied answer can be. Still, it will appreciate the child who has brought a new answer to an old problem. Certainly, the child's answer cannot be as right as Socrates' answer. Naturally, a small child answer cannot be as exact as that of Albert Einstein. But to ask a child's answer should be as right as that of Albert Einstein is foolish. If the child is inventive, he or she is moving in the right direction. One day, the child will become an Albert Einstein. If he's trying to create something new, naturally, he has his limitations. But just his effort in trying to create something new should be appreciated, should be praised. Education should not be competitive. People should not be judged against each other. Competitiveness is very violent and very destructive. Somebody is not good at mathematics and you call him mediocre. And he may be good at carpentry, but nobody looks at that. Somebody is not good at literature and you call her stupid, and she will be good at music, at dance. A real education will help people to find their life where they can be fully alive. If a child is born to be a carpenter, then that is the right thing for him to do. There should be nobody to enforce anything else. The world can become such a great, intelligent world if a child is allowed to be himself or herself, helped, supported in every way, and nobody interferes. In fact, nobody manipulates a child. If the child wants to become a dancer, then that is good. Dancers are needed. Much dance is needed in the world. If the child wants to become a poet, good. Much poetry is needed. There's never enough. If the child wants to become a carpenter or a fisherman, perfectly good. If the child wants to become a woodcutter, perfectly good. There's no need to become a president or a prime minister. In fact, fewer people will become interested in these targets. It will be a blessing. Right now, everything is topsy-turvy. One who wanted to become a carpenter has become a doctor. Though you can't see the deliver there. If you wanted to become a carpenter, you become a doctor. Then maybe you're going to start use carpentry to deal with. That's funny. Anyway, if they ever say that, it's better say that. Right now, everything is topsy-turvy. One who wants to become a carpenter has become a doctor. One who wants to become a doctor has become a carpenter. Everybody's in somebody else's place. And so much unintelligence. Everybody's doing somebody else's job. Once you start seeing it, you will understand why people are behaving unintelligently. So, you know, I'm not going to tell you which book I read from yet. No, because there's so much we have read this book about maybe 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Yeah, we read a book upon the cutting edge. But we want to give little nips bits from it. And when we're done, we tell you. Furthermore, you can't get it. It's out of print. That's the first thing. We have to tell you, say, it's out of print. This is the cutting edge. And IRFM, yes.
Yes, give thanks, Mota Waruka.
Blessed man.
Yeah, I wonder why them bring on your program so late, because the whole Jamaica need for, your program is critical thinking,
Yeah, then all you know is the whole Jamaican I listen.
Well, I know them we hear of Muta, but give thanks Muta for the work,
Yeah, man.
Because even me myself, me always credit Muta Baruka for really.
Why you talk about yourself very straight, even me myself?
Yeah, because you make me really start to really get deep and dig deeper and deeper into things and cultivate up until where I am now, where I can see what you're saying clearly and also be able to contribute to others listening to the program, because everything that you say is right, and what the callers them say is very right. And we need to just put it in a cultural context, a direction, like where a child go to school and him learn ABC before him learn composition, and 1, 2, 3 before algebra. I feel like so we need to put the culture in a cultural academic format where books can be referenced, authors can be referenced, have historical background, and show a development in the culture as to where we are now. So that we will not polarize ourselves as Jamaican between who is Rasta and who is not Rasta. We are all African. We are all people finding our identity and coming into the reality and the truth of things, you see?
Yeah, man.
And I don't think no one can deny that.
Yes. We was African before with everything else.
Yeah. And it is so right. Every point you touch on tonight is a topic and a program and a subject matter unto itself.
By itself, yes.
Yeah. So to deal with these now, we need study group.
Of course. Well, I was in the prison last week, and one of the superintendent get up and said, "Boy, Muta Baruka, I have to tell you this, that in the nights when you speak certain things, and we listen to it here, it's a big conversation and group reasoning in the morning. Them way there, so you must know, say, even at the prison, it creates a certain openness to reasoning.
Sure.
Yes.
And it is good. Yeah. And I myself reason with pastors on in terms of the development of even the Bible.
Yes.
What became the Bible from the Septuagint coming on to the Vulgate. So many different translations that we need to get into that, as Marcus Garvey did say, and then we would realize that at the source of it is African high culture.
Of course.
Which was copied and duplicated and distributed throughout the world.
Yes. And twist up.
You see?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and twist up. And because our mind get twist up now by the twisting of this, all of our resources can be extracted from under our eyes.
Yes.
And we're not in a position to do anything about it. So therefore, we live in denial.
They came with their guns and the Bible and taught us to pray. And when we close our eyes and open it, we are the Bible and they are our land.
All right. Yes. You see? And I'm calling from the States.
Okay.
And it is very obvious and it's very clear. Just to share an example with you. I was in a grocery store the other day. It was run by some Indians, you see? And they were selling Jamaican products. This is everywhere, you see?
Yeah.
In the Jamaican communities, you have other people who distribute
Jamaican
everything.
Product. Yes. I think when I come from Jamaica, write Jamaica upon it.
All right. And when you go to the Jamaican to buy, him have to sell you more expensive than everybody else, because everybody else have a executive business bureau through which, they have an organization. That is what we lack, centralization.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
And it is everywhere.
We need that kind of co-op. Yes.
Co-op, you have so many different farmer co-op. So the situation I want to share with you is that there was a Jamaican man. He was trying to sell cable to the Indian man who run the store, and the Indian man is saying to him that, "But I'm gonna want my Indian channel." So he's telling the Indian man, "No man, you don't need it, no Indian channel, man. Just watch what them have." I was saying to him, that is the problem there. We are the only ones who come to this country and leave our culture. So therefore we don't have the economical nor the ideological framework from which to work from which the unity is based. Yes. You see?
Yeah.
So the solution to our problem is collective, and the individuality is the very source of our problem.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
So we have to get economical minded in terms of hedging.
Yeah.
How we throw our partner, think about that on a bigger level.
And we know we use it, we know how to do it, It's just that how we do it, them wipe it out away, Can you remember them partner, they talk about partner?
Yeah.
And bartering. Where a thing of value is a thing of value to not to the thing itself, but to what it is used for. In other words, if you have 5 pounds of meat, and you know the meat more expensive than rice.
Right.
The idea if you eat rice and me eat meat, you don't go check why, because your meat more expensive than my rice. You go take all of my rice.
Thank you.
Yeah, you don't know so well. The value of the thing is of the value that it is necessary and needed from the person. So the rice, you barter the rice and I take some meat, and both of we have rice and meat.
It is simple. It's very simpler than we think. We approach it complicated because we're going through the
some
contemporary
big some big educational thing.
Yeah, we need innovation now.
Of course, that me just read a while ago.
Yeah.
That me just read a while ago. Said you need innovation. A child use him brains to work out certain things. And it's not like it's going to come out like Einstein, but then him is innovative.
Yeah.
Eventually him will become Einstein.
Yes.
Because him use a different part.
It is, What I want to say before I go is that I want to suggest to the elected officials of Jamaica that they take into consideration funding cultural development programs within each and every community to re-educate the Jamaican youth, which the government itself has taken part in the brainwash systematically. And that is at the source of the crime and all the problems that is going on in Jamaica, to re-educate the youth truthfully as to who they are and their contributions as Africans in this world. And that will give them a new perspective, a new outlook, and a new perspective on themselves and the world, and put them in a better position. I think that should be the first approach right now. Re-education. Belief can't solve the problem.
No, definitely not. I give thanks,
Bridget. The solution to miseducation, re-education.
Knowledge.
Give thanks,
knowledge. Yeah, knowledge is power. So, somebody asks a question, and you become silent. You look into the question with penetrating eyes, not into the memory, but into the question. You face the question. You encounter the question. If you don't know, you say you don't know. For example, somebody asks whether God exists or not. You immediately says, yes, God exists. From where is the answer coming? From your memory, your Christian memory, Hindu memory, Muslim memory. There is almost useless, then it is almost useless and futile. If you have a communist memory, you will say, no, there is no God. If you have a Catholic memory, you will say, yes, there is a God. If you have a Buddhist memory, you will say there is no God. But these answers are coming from the memory. If you are a person of understanding, you will simply listen to the question. You will go deep into the question. You will simply watch. If you don't know, you will say, I don't know. If you know, only then will you say you know. And when I say if you know, I mean if you have realized. A man of understanding is true, even if he says, I don't know. His ignorance is more valuable than the knowledge of the mind, because at least his ignorance, because at least his ignorance, his acceptance of the ignorance is closer to truth. At least he is not trying to pretend, but is not a hypocrite. Watch, and you will see that all your answers come from your memory. Then try to find the place where memory does not function, and pure consciousness functions. That is what understanding is. I wonder if you understand what I just read a while ago. I have heard the doctor stepped into the patient's room. 5 minutes later, he came out and asked for a corkscrew. Then he went back to his patient. In another 5 minutes, he was out again and demanding a chisel and an hammer. The distraught husband couldn't stand it any longer. He pleaded, "For heaven's sake, doctor, what is wrong with my wife?" The doctor answered, "I don't know yet. I can't get my bag opened." This is the cutting edge at IRFM. Sometimes, even when you say, "I don't know," it is not necessarily coming out of understanding. It may be simple that you can't, it may simply that you can't open your bag. It may be that you cannot open your memories, or you are not able to find something in the memory. You need time. You say, "I don't know. Give me time. Let me think about it." What will you do by thinking? If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. What are you going to think about? But you say, "Give me time. I will think about it." What are you saying? You are saying, "I will have to go into the basement of my mind and search. And there's such rubbish accumulated through the years that is difficult to find. But I will do my best." Meditate and become free from this basement. It is not that the basement is not useful. It can be used. But it should not become a substitute for your understanding. A man of understanding looks into things directly. His insight is direct, but he can use all his accumulation of knowledge to help the insight to reach you. He can use all that he has accumulated to make everything that he is trying to convey to you clear. But that which he is trying to convey is his own. The words may be borrowed. Language may be borrowed. Has to be borrowed. Concepts may be borrowed, but not what he's trying to convey to you. The container will come from the memory, but the contents will be his insight. Yes, this is the cutting edge on IRFM. We're there with you. 20th year. We keep saying it because it surprised me too. Yeah, it surprised me too, believe you me. Let's not gotta think about it. It surprised me too. But that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Matrix, what you do? Good like that. All right, Matrix there, film program.